how do you feel that this hierarchical system is like, is it helping us or it's not? But like, what's its effect on us today besides what you just read? Like
Well,
you're,
as you know,
hmm
I constantly advocate for like darker skinned people. Like in all my conversations with you and stuff, I always like one thing I always tell people,
hmm
or like even my wife, right, is like, would you do or would you react that way if you were white? Like, for instance, my wife or somebody, I don't want to pick on my wife, but somebody might just be like, I'm not going to do this because blah, 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 blah.
hmm
And I'm like, if you were white, you would have done it though.
yeah,
So just go do it. Like, on one hand, that's true, but on other hands, you could be potentially putting your life in danger as well. So you have to be careful, pick and choose.
yeah,
But I think in our society today, definitely colorism still affects, like even in the Caribbean, you would assume that in the Caribbean, because we're a majority black population,
hmm
that we would be more like together. But even in the Caribbean, colorism plays a big role. I remember in undergrad, girls saying that they like only lighter skinned guys, or even girls fawning over like when Americans would come over
hmm
and they were white, like fawning over them. And it's like, but you don't act that way towards people that look like you though. But
yeah.
you like over here, like literally ready to throw your panties on stage for this random person who isn't even that attractive. Although I will say there was one or two guys I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
he kind of cute, he kind of cute.
yeah, yeah.
But generally it was like just average Joes, and you like dropping your panties for them is kind of weird. So, and then you have these like, and then even too, like I've seen girls look at black guys who I would say are like really like chef's kiss. Like this dude is really attractive.
You ain't gotta talk with me.
And like
I'm right here. You ain't gotta be so vague about it.
I was trying to keep it in my pants, but come on, like you gotta call me out.
Oh man.
But um, but then like some random light skinned black dude who look like a Pringle,
Oof.
like
Enoch?
she want him over the black guy simply because he liked her skin, and is like, that's so weird.
Yeah. But lighter skinned guys
Dang.
have gotten a bad rep over the past few years, though. They've been seen more as the F boys and things like that,
Yeah, I mean
unfortunately.
it kind of goes both ways. I don't think it's all like pros.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like people assume like, oh, you lighter skin, so you have nothing. Like people don't like
Yeah.
people often think that lighter skinned guys aren't as masculine,
Yeah.
right? They think that they're like as you said, F boys,
hmm
or they think that they always emotional.
Yeah.
So
Which that actually leads into what you said about the perception of skin tone and what people think about when they see that skin tone. And it's still like skin tone still affects us to this day, and it's a sad thing. It should be what's in here that determines how people treat you rather than what they see. But it's hard
yeah.
to avoid that.
Yeah, like for me, whenever I look at people, I don't really see their skin tone first. I see the person as a person. I
hmm
mean, let me be honest. When I interact with white people, I do see their skin first,
hmm
only because I worry that they might potentially be racist.
mm
And I can't tell that just from looking at them. I can only tell that from interacting with them.
Yeah.
And I would rather assume the worst and hope for the best
hmm
than give them the benefit of the doubt and then something happens to me.
Yeah. And that's it's sad. That's the kind of reality that we have to live in. But there's nothing else you can really do about that.
Yeah, and even like small things, like I remember talking to a colleague of mine, and we were talking about a language from another culture
hmm
in Hawaii, and he was calling their dialect broken English,
mm
and that immediately triggered like that's racist to say
mm
because it's not broken English, it's just a different type of English.
Yeah.
And if you really want to think about it, English itself is a quote unquote broken language
It
because it's
is.
actually comprised of a bunch of different languages
hmm
put together.
Yeah.
And that language that we were speaking on was a language that was the same. It was a bunch of different languages put together.
We're about to go into the rabbit hole here where we talked about going to another country and then you wanted to speak English there, and when they come here, this one is speaking. Like we just talked about
Uh,
this.
yeah.
Oh
We
man.
just talked about the fact that is racist, or it shows a level of entitlement at least.
No,
It's
let's
not
start.
racism.
Let's start at the beginning. The beginning of this conversation started when the slaves that encountered the main character said that she was talking white, and that's what led us down this path that we were talking about. Because talking properly, and that's even that sounds weird for me to say. So speaking in a way where there's no slang, no dialect, no accent, and using the right words, it seems white, especially in this story. So they called her a white N word, which is like that. Every time they said it, it triggered me because like, oh come on, stop. But she was
Yes.
speaking the way that she knew how to speak all her life because that's how she grew up. So that made us
Yeah.
think about having to be a black person, let's say from the Caribbean or from a certain place, and you go somewhere else, you get looked down on because you're not speaking properly when this is all you know. When compared to someone who's
Right.
white, who comes from the south, who goes north, they don't have to code switch or they don't have to worry about how they sound because they're going to be more accepted that way.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know where to start with this one because what exactly is proper? I mean, I guess you kind of outlined it. No accent,
Mm,
using the correct words, using big words, I guess. But it's like people speak how they speak, right? There
mhm.
could be a standard. I guess there could be a standard. But then who's to decide what's the standard? Like
Yeah,
I would assume the standard would be whatever is the local norm.
yeah.
Like in the South, the standard would be to have a Southern drawl.
Hmm.
Does that mean everybody who comes out to now try to mimic a Southern drawl? Probably not.
I don't think so. That's
I mean,
unfair.
in some cases, that could even be seen as disrespectful because you like making fun of me
Hmm.
in a way. So, but back to what we're saying. The conversation was, why is it that when they go someplace, they don't have to code switch, but when people are around them, they're expected to code switch?
Yeah. I don't feel like there should be any discrimination based on your accent or on how you speak, unless you're speaking like extremely broken, extremely like hood. Like I don't want to give titles to these things, but like
Yeah.
cursing all the time and just using a heap of slang that no one understands. Like only you and your
Well,
your core group understands. Things like that.
wouldn't that just be us gatekeeping what should be okay and what's not okay?
Hmm. I don't
Or is there like
know.
a actual objective way to say like this is not okay and this is okay?
I don't feel like anybody should be discriminated for based on how they talk, unless it's negative, unless it's taken away from what you're trying to
Disrespectful.
do.
Mm.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think like being disrespectful, being impolite, or whatever, no matter how you speak,
Mm-hmm.
whether you speaking properly, quote unquote, or you're speaking like a hood N word,
Mm-hmm.
as people obviously attribute, if you're speaking like a hood person, you try and be like an N word,
Yeah.
which is wrong as well. Um, but no matter how you speak, if you speak in that way, but you're speaking positive,
Yeah.
you should be looked at positively. But if you speak in negatively, even
Mm-hmm.
if you say it in a nice way, that should be looked at negatively. That like I think it more matters the context of what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
rather than how you're